welcome to this ChannelX Leaders interview. Delighted to be joined by Beth Ashworth from Sitruna. So welcome, Beth. How are you?
I'm very well, Chris. It is so lovely to be here today. Excited to talk with you.
So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience, because I know you've got some really interesting background. And then what do you do at Sitruna?
Absolutely. So currently at Sitruna, I'm heading up business development, so covering lots of exciting things there, which we'll go into later. But my background, I actually spent 5.5, just under 6 years at Amazon itself, so Amazon UK headquarters, where I did a range of different roles, all of which were in marketplace. So have always been working with third-party sellers, brand owners. I started out in the B2B space, so helping launch Amazon Business back in 2017 in the UK, which was very exciting. I then moved into the renewed space, so looking after our UK Amazon renewed marketplace. That's all refurbished goods and devices. So definitely had fun geeking out for a few years, heading that up. And then finally, I moved into an SMB empowerment role, so looking at how we could empower and support small businesses on and off of Amazon. So yes, had a range of different things that I got involved with there, and then moved over to the agency world. Just coming up to 2 years now with Sitruna. I actually met Stephen, the founder of Sitruna, back in my Amazon days. So we both started at Amazon on the same day together. So we go way back.
So that's amazing. And just for those that don't know Sitruna, what sort of services do you offer there?
Yeah, so we are a global full service Amazon agency based here in London, in the UK. We're in Shoreditch, actually, just down the road from Amazon HQ itself. We offer a full service solution for brands selling on Amazon. So on the consulting side, that's everything from ads, tech, content, whether that's copywriting, back end SEO, graphics, graphic design, infographics, etc. And we also are a 3PL. So we have a logistics and warehousing solution as well, because we found that a lot of the brands that we were working with really needed a top tier 3PL to come into the scene and help with that full service offering in the Amazon space.
So a lot going on, and I get you're rather enthusiastic about Amazon, but
How did you
I,
tell?
I want to kind of widen the conversation and ask, what do you think is exciting about e-commerce this year, and what do you think is going to be really important for e-commerce retailers in 2025?
Absolutely. So there's so much going on, as always, in the e-com space. I think particularly this year, I'm really seeing from the clients that we work with, like from the brand owner perspective, but also from the service provider's perspective, so agencies, all the third parties out there working with brands, is this collaboration and holistic strategy piece that's coming into things more than ever. So, whether that is on the brand owner side as a seller in the space, really looking at all of your online presence levers, Amazon, fantastic, getting that down to a T. You need to be looking at all of the other marketplaces, whether that's B&Q, whether that's Walmart, whether it's looking at your socials, your TikTok shop strategy, which is definitely a big one coming up there, making sure that you're having a real holistic view and that you've got a presence across all of those parts to work towards the success that you're planning. And likewise, from an agency, from a service provider point of view, making sure you're being really holistic with the strategy, with the services that you're offering, with the relationships and the partnerships that you're building. I know certainly from our side, it's making sure that we're experts in the Amazon space and the logistics space, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to make sure that we have really good knowledge and really good partners in place for all of the other things that a brand is going to need to achieve that success. Whether it's tax, VAT, some of the more stuff that you have to have there, all the way through to working with other agencies in the TikTok space, so that they're having that holistic strategy guidance. Just that piece of making sure that you're across the board on everything.
Yeah, and I think it is really exciting because you've mentioned obviously Amazon that you love, but also TikTok, and you've mentioned B&Q, and there are so many different channels opening up now, both in the UK and abroad. and you need that strategy across the lot. And I think something I've seen that's really interesting recently is what's now called retail media. We used to call it on Amazon sponsored ads and sponsored brands, but even just the advertising side is growing so complex nowadays. And I'm guessing that's something that you guys can help with.
Absolutely. I mean, ads alone is such a massive piece. I mean, 5 years ago, which is when Sitruna first started, we're approaching our birthday very soon. I know that the agency space looked a lot different, and it was predominantly ad agencies for Amazon success. It was all ads focused because it's a massive, piece of the pie. As I said, that you've got to be holistic, you've got to have the full service there. But ads itself is such a beast. We've had so much go on this year. Our ads director, Sophie, she was over at Unboxed in New York, hearing all of the updates, all of the advancements with AI, obviously being integrated with the tools, AMC, day parting, all of that. It's such a massive part of it that there's almost sub departments within just our ad space so that we're supporting brands and clients with as much granularity as possible. That's why we also make sure we really partner closely with Amazon. So making sure that we're certified with them. We're now an advanced partner. That means that we get all the access to AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud. Getting as much access to the data that Amazon have, as we all know, can make such a big difference. And that's a really important part, we think, plays in the success of the ad strategy piece as an agency, having that additional access by being partnered with Amazon.
And talking of success, when we look at brands or retailers specifically, are there any areas that you see of really key importance on Amazon in 2025? Is there anything we should be looking out for that's maybe new or different or expanding?
Definitely. You've literally just said the buzzword, expanding that. That is the piece that we're really doubling down on because we're seeing sellers double down on that expansion. We're having a massive increase in, US sellers looking to expand into Europe, into the UK, where previously they've not even bothered because it's just too complex for them. Amazon operations in the States is literally a whole different ball game to EU UK, and quite often that difference in the playbook of how to go about setting up making waves and succeeding on Amazon here versus the States, it's so different that people aren't approaching it, sellers aren't approaching it from the States. They're now starting to understand the opportunity size in Europe, in the UK, and they're starting to really engage with, okay, how do we expand? What does success look like on Amazon specifically with that international expansion? So there's so much potential there. And, we're really making sure that we can make that opportunity as accessible as possible. So there's a one-stop solution so that brands aren't having to think about, okay, I need 7 different partners to make this expansion possible, because that's what it looks like in reality, from logistics to the consulting space, all the way to VAT, tax compliance, translations, making sure that we can offer a really seamless full package, one-stop solution so that brands can literally go, okay, I've got one partner here that's a powerhouse in enabling me to access the opportunity that's overseas.
And this is really interesting. So I get what you mean about working holistically on your strategy as a brand and looking at expansion. But can you tell me, these are areas I know Sitruna operate in, but how can you help a brand, maybe a US brand that wants to come to Europe or a UK brand that wants to go to the US? Where do you start with them? And what services can you offer to streamline everything?
Absolutely. So, twofold, I think. One, we've really made sure that we have a very robust solution in place. One from our side, but also with all the partners that we have on board to make that expansion possible. As I was speaking to earlier, everything from the VAT, the tax partner, cross-border logistics solutions, all of those things in place so that as soon as we can start working with a client, with a brand, they immediately have access to all of the different partners they need to make that happen, not just the consulting space, everything else that's needed. And it's a really quick instant access solution. We do a lot of really in-depth audits, which works super well when people are expanding into a new marketplace. They want to understand really granularly what is the opportunity size here for my category, for my brand, for my products. So we do a lot of in-depth audits with sellers who are looking to expand into those new marketplaces, so they have a really clear idea what that opportunity size is, so that they know when they're making that investment with their time, with their resources in that expansion, that it's really worth it. So a lot of competitor analysis, a lot of market share analysis, to make sure that ahead of clicking go and starting, there's some really robust data there and analysis to move forward the strategy.
So something I'm really interested in is you've spoken about your logistics arm, but how much need is there for this? Because obviously there's Amazon FBA, there's Amazon supply chain, there's Amazon cross border. What can you bring to the table for brands that Amazon can't do themselves?
Great question, and I love this question. I love it, and I will take you back to a little anecdotal story of so our founder Stephen actually started as a brand owner himself on Amazon and went on to have about 4 or 5 different brands that he started, that he scaled and exited. The most recent of which we exited for 7 figures just a few years ago. That brand we kept and we held on to for quite a few more years. We had it in-house with the Sitruna team, so that everybody on the team also had the experience of working as a brand owner, so they could really fully understand and also work through and have a lived experience with all the strategies that we advise to our clients. We've gone there, we've been there, we've done that. It's been our sandbox, essentially, to test out all these strategies. And what we found with our own brand was that we had optimized every possible area we could, you know, the PPC strategy, our listings content, you know, infographics, all of that. And our biggest problem and our biggest sort of driver of decreased sales were logistic issues, and really simple ones: going out of stock, you know, having the right amount of stock ready to drip feed into FBA. That is where Sitruna Logistics came from. We were experiencing that issue. We didn't think that there was a good enough solution out there from existing 3PLs, so we said, let's do it ourselves. And we definitely saw with our client base an increasing number of clients having massive issues with stockouts, with logistics, with 3PLs. Now, Amazon obviously have FBA. They've got all these fantastic logistics solutions. And let me just say, as a customer, I love the next day delivery. It's fantastic. But as a seller, there are increasing complexities in getting your stock into FBA. You think it's really simple of sending it over. There are storage limits that are assigned to you based on your sales volume, etc. There's obviously peak seasonality where we're having a lot more restrictions on stock to send in. You're having to send it in however many months in advance. Long-term storage fees, don't get me started on that one. And with a 3PL, it enables that process to be managed by professionals. Number one, takes the time off of your hands because it's a lot of admin. Anyone who's listening who is a seller on Amazon and uses FBA knows how long it can take just to pick, pack, and send to the right requirements for FBA to accept it. So yes, we saw a really big need for that, and the impact that it can have on your business, on your success on Amazon, it's massive.
And I'm guessing this is actually really attractive for sellers outside the UK, from maybe the US or wherever else, that want to sell into the UK, to be able to partner with you on the logistics side and have the logistics optimized just as much as their Amazon offers and Amazon ads.
Absolutely. And again, it comes back to that holistic piece, that one-stop solution, particularly for overseas sellers. They're not here, they're not physically in the country, to be able to have just one partner where they can access every single piece of the puzzle that they need, and logistics being a massive one. It makes such a difference. Yeah, and really necessary for all of the really hard work that goes into optimizing your presence on Amazon. It means nothing if the logistics isn't there to support that visibility.
So I found it really interesting that you had your own in-house brand and actually hung on to one for several years so that your entire team could work on it. that's not normal for an Amazon agency to be working on their own brand, is it? Were there any downsides to doing that? You're investing time managing your own brand rather than running the agency, or was the upside of the experience that everyone in the agency actually worked on a real brand outweighed that?
Absolutely, and absolutely the latter. Having that understanding, whether you're a PPC specialist in our PPC department, whether you're graphics and content, having that understanding of what it is like to be the brand owner yourself, of what goes into it, of how all of the different elements and strategies across ads, across content, across tech come into play and influence each other, made such a massive difference, not only in the confidence in going to our clients and providing them strategy, because we've been there and we've done that, but also in the way that we operate as a business, in the services that we can provide, so that we restructured how all of our teams are set up, so that we made sure that we weren't operating in silo with PPC department, with the tech department, with the graphics department, and so on. We actually restructured to make sure we had several people from each department in a team, and we had several teams with people across departments working together holistically. You're going to get sick of me saying that word, on the accounts that they were working on. So as a client, you're coming to us, you have an entire team of specialists dedicated to you, not just one. You have someone from every single department, as well as your overall account manager, and they are all talking to each other. They are all understanding the influence of every single action that they take for their strategy for their department on the account, how that's influencing the other department, how that's all coming into the bigger picture. And that came from us working on our own brand in-house, everybody understanding what it takes as the brand owner, and also the way in which we connect with and communicate with all of the brands. It made a massive difference because we're not coming at it from our very isolated, I'm an expert in PPC, let me tell you how it's done. We're coming at it from an understanding of how it feels to be in the brand owner's shoes.
So I've just got two more questions.
Yeah.
Number one is, what sort of business should be coming to work with you, whether it be size, scale, category? Do they need to be a brand owner? Could they be a retailer? And second, for those that do want to work with you, how do they get hold of you?
So we actually are category agnostic. So we work with brands across any category, which is super exciting. And equally, regardless pretty much of of the stage you're at in your Amazon journey. So we do work with brands who need help with the launch on Amazon, with the setup, with that side of things. Our bread and butter, though, really is working with brands who, perhaps have been on Amazon for a while. They don't have the internal expertise or time to really scale their presence on Amazon and actually reach their potential. There is a hell of a lot of work that goes into just the admin of staying afloat on Amazon. And that really means that there's no space left for growth, for scaling. So we really become an extension of the team, of the brand that we work with, to make sure we cover that expertise, the Amazon side, to free up the time for the brand owners to work on what they're experts in, which is the brand and growing the brand. So yeah, in terms of getting in touch, it is reach out on the website, we're Sitruna.com, drop myself a LinkedIn, I'm Bethany Ashworth on LinkedIn, or drop me an email on beth@Sitruna.com. Honestly, really happy to talk to anybody who has a need for helping to scale their success on Amazon. And we have that first call booked in where it's really me getting to understand the nitty gritty of where are you at right now? Where do you want to be? Let's talk about how we can make that happen.
Fantastic. Beth, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Chris.